Yeah, forward, another tough loss, similar to Friday night. Things just seemed to fall apart there in the third quarter. Can you walk us through just sort of what went wrong from your point of view in that third period?
Everything. At least with Tassie game, I felt like, for the most part, we had a little bit of control. We lost a bit of momentum in the third. We were able to regain ourselves and our composure in the fourth and give it a run. I felt the first half there was a little bit of level disconnect among certain individuals. I knew I called out Bull a little bit. He was getting caught up on the most minute things. I was frustrated with Keanu because I thought he was playing conservative. We had some looks at the rim. We didn't make those layups. We got 20 foul shots in the first half. We only got 4 in the second. And that was nothing to do with officiating. That was us not playing aggressive. We were playing rather conservative. And then Melbourne's pressure went up. And so they took the ball from us. They literally took the ball out of our hands in different times. And so, it was I don't have any real good excuses for you. It was a snowball effect that rolled into the second half, and that was the result.
I know you talk a lot about playing with excitement and just aggressiveness. Do you think, is it just the point of the season where fatigue has taken its toll and the injuries have mounted up, or is it just a case of just not giving enough effort on the night?
It's and it's getting that balance. So, there were times where, Delhi, who's been outstanding from the perimeter, but he gets an on-ball closer to half court than it is at the three-point line, and we try to fight over it, knowing we got Nate in a drops coverage, Keanu in a drops coverage that ends up in a lob for JLA. Like, why are we fighting over that screen? And then on the alternative is, they set a pin down action for Golding, and we're so far off of him that it ends up being an uncontested three. So there is, yes, play with energy and effort, 100%, but also play with a level of attention to detail. Know who you're guarding, and sometimes our over-enthusiasm can potentially lead to errors and mistakes, and that's fine. But I don't, it's not, we rotated deep into the bench. I was looking for something. I was looking for answers. And then, it's pretty telling when the 15 points we score in the fourth quarter, 13 of them are from Ben and Brayden, who combined for more minutes tonight than they probably played all season. So, there's some real concerns there rolling into the next 2 weeks going, well, we've got Perth in Perth, we've got Melbourne in Melbourne, we've got Sydney. It's a run into the conclusion of the season where, how do we want to play this out in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, Ben getting that starting five call up tonight. I know you said on Friday it was a bit of a necessity having to play him as many minutes as you did, but to see him step up and start tonight's game, what did you think of his performance?
He did what was asked of him. We need guys to play with a level of intensity and aggressiveness from the get-go, and he was a large part of why. Now, he didn't tick the scoreboard over himself, but, he was a large part of why we were able to keep that team down to 40 points. Should have been, again, this is, Bull, he didn't have a great game offensively, and I was getting frustrated with some of his decision-making. We had an opportunity to have the last possession at the half. He takes a heavily contested layup, which then gives another possession to Melbourne down the other end, which they score on. Now, these are silly errors. So, but I'll allow, Ben and Bull and these guys to, navigate these learning experiences because they're rookies. They're young, they're inexperienced. There's a lot of guys who should know better that unfortunately we just didn't play very well. We didn't play very good.
You mentioned, Bull and his hesitancy. I noticed, when he stopped to take a three, he instead just charged the rim instead. Do you think, given that he is chasing possibly Shane Healy's record with 3-pointers in a season for a rookie, do you think that's in his head a little when it comes to taking a shot from distance?
I think there's a lot going on. I get pressed on it every interview afterwards, I know the commentary talk about it. There's guys right now that are thinking about themselves, when it comes to salary and their expectation and what they're entitled to and deserving of, and that plays into a lot of guys. Now, I'm not saying that's the reason for Bull, but it does start to weigh on you to some chance. So yeah, maybe I've played my part in that with Bull and the record chasing and whatever it may be, but yeah, probably expected that. You can have that from one or two guys. We had everybody have a bad night tonight, and that is, there's something to take from that, whether it is the outside noise, whether it is whatever they're being told individually. We've got a job to do. We got a job to do, and we didn't represent the jersey. We didn't give it the respect that it deserved tonight. That's how that game played out.
Just for you, Brayden, mate, some minutes tonight in tonight's game, more than you've had in most of the season, some scores as well. A loss is a loss, but how did you feel to get some experience on the plate?
I'm just grateful for every minute that I do get on the court. I just try to go out there, make the most of it, and get in there, and did leave Chris Goulding, fell asleep there, but came back in and just played as hard as I could.
I know you train with stars every week, but going up against, Goulding and Delhi, what's that like for you as a development player?
Those are some of the top dudes in the league, so I think every time you do get an opportunity to go against them, it just shows just like what is possible for someone in my position, if you keep working. Just another good opportunity, really.
Just following up from that, Brayden, how much do you feel like it's helped you being in a full-time NBL environment this year, and how much do you think you might have improved from 6 months ago to now?
Yeah, massively. Like, we train full-time against such talented dudes. Like, you're putting in those sort of hours, you're going to improve. And then you add in the work that you do outside of that with the facilities you got and the coaches around you. Like, I'm definitely improving, and I hope to just improve more from there.
I know you're not from Perth, but you spent a bit of time over that part of the world. It's a little bit of a homecoming for you this week.
Yeah, like our first game was against him, and it was one of the best atmospheres in the league. So it's always cool to get over there and get some friends and family. Hopefully, come to the game, and the goal's to win, and everyone should just go out there and play as hard as they can.
It is a homecoming for you, Forde. Are you looking forward to it, even though there won't be much time to enjoy it?
No, we got other things we need to address. So whether we play Perth or it's a home game or whoever it is, we've got a job to do.
You touched on it earlier. Are you a little bit nervous knowing that you've got these 3 games against top teams to come about what might happen? I mean, you look at the scoreboard tonight. Do you put it on the players to make sure you don't have the sort of scorelines that we saw tonight?
We almost doubled down on what the message has been. So, the critical film review will be the same. The way we go about practice will be the same. You sort of have to wash it. If you still do your review and address the things that's going on. But I think this week ends up being a little bit more of one-on-one than a team-type review. But the good thing is it's a new game. It'll be a new day, and then we'll go about it in the same process.
Hey, Forde, Fraser here from AAP. Just going off what Chris said and what you mentioned earlier, how do you get you said there was no respect in the jersey tonight. In your last 3 games, how do you get that respect back through your players? Is it through the one-on-one reviews like you just mentioned?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It really comes down to the individual. I know guys there's a lot of free agents on the team. And I understand that. And there's a lot of guys who have done well that are probably going to try and warrant more income. And then there's guys who aren't doing very well and are nervous about what their future looks like. So I understand that aspect of the sport. I'm the most real about it than anybody else, I feel. But you got to look about how you finish out this season and understand that, what is most recent and relevant in people's minds is how you go about this period right now. We're down. We had a good little run. We won 3 games in a row and everybody was enjoying each other's company, and now we put out a performance like that against our home team. you know, this says a lot on how you carry yourselves in the next 2 weeks.